What's it like now that this is all over? Like, has anything in terms of like what these last couple of days have been like surprised you?
Honestly, it still hasn't really set in. Like, in the moment, it was so memorable and so incredible, and but like still now, it like still doesn't feel real. It almost feels like an out of body experience, like we're watching in on it, because it's so crazy to believe that a year ago we lost in the state championship, and now here we are and we won. It's just crazy.
And now that it's just all over. Like,
I know.
Has that part set in that like you guys won't be getting ready to play another game? You don't have to do Royal Pride ever again.
Oh, thank goodness for that. But I mean, yeah, Sunday I went to softball, and that was just so weird. And as much as I hate moving on from basketball so quickly, I think it's kind of helping and kind of keeping my mind off of the fact that I'll never play with these girls again, because I'm going to miss them a lot. But yeah, that part definitely hasn't set in.
How big of a relief was Saturday? Like, I know you guys said you weren't like stressed or nervous, but at the same time, like you said, it's been a year in the making, if not 2 years.
Yeah. As soon as I saw the subs coming in, it was just like complete relief. Like coming off the floor, and then Chloe started like cheering, and we were all crying, and it was just like crazy, because in that moment I knew that we did it. We did what we set out to do a year ago, and it was just very satisfying.
Was all the hard work worth it?
For sure, 100%. All of the long nights, long practices, the frustrated tears at times, it was all worth it.
Was it harder to play Glenwood the second time?
Definitely. They definitely have improved a lot since the last time we played them. But I think that because we were playing them, we already had, it gave us a sense of confidence going in, which was nice.
Would you have rather played a team that you hadn't played before, like that you didn't know?
That's a good question. I don't know. I think it was nice that, I think it was nice to play a CSA team, because it's so cool for the CSA that two teams made it to the state championship. So yeah, I don't know.
How would you describe the feeling of getting that trophy?
Oh my gosh, it was just so incredible. Yeah, as soon as I came off the court, we were all just like totally crying, and so it was so emotional. But obviously tears of joy, and getting the trophy, it was just surreal.
What does it feel like to show the trophy to that crowd, just knowing how much of a part they are of this?
Oh yeah, we do it for ourselves, and we did it to avenge last year. We also did it for Lincoln, because this was their first state championship, and so it was really nice to be able to give them this the state championship, and to include them in it so much, because they've been on this ride with us for the past 2 years, and so holding it up for them, it was just relieving, and I don't even have the words for what it felt like, because 1 year ago we were holding up the runner-up, and it was almost disappointing for us. I know they were probably disappointed, but it was just really nice.
What do you think is something that you'll tell your grandkids about last weekend?
Oh my gosh, well, I'll definitely tell them about this team, because this team has meant so much to me, and this team has just been absolutely incredible, and it'll just be a great story.
Do you feel like
legendary?
Do you feel like you've set the bar? I mean, there's nothing better than what you guys have done. Is that crazy to think that like the bar is set that high now?
Yes, we've definitely thought about that and talked about it, and we're setting the bar high, but we're also we've done something that no one else has done, which has been super cool, and I hope that it carries on, because we know that without the younger girls on our team, we wouldn't be where we are today, and so hopefully what we've done carries on, and starts a tradition that gets carried on at Lincoln.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to start there though. What was the feeling like knowing that you got to play that team again in the biggest game of your career?
We felt prepared for them since we had played them and they're in our same conference and stuff, but we know that they had gotten a lot better, so we still had to work on some things because they did beat us a little bit with rebounding and stuff the last time we played them, so we just had to keep preparing, but we felt confident going into it, but it felt great.
Did that kind of mess with your head that you had to play them in that game? Would you rather have played another team that you don't know anything about?
Honestly, yeah, I would have, just because it's hard to beat a few teams like more than once, and they had been preparing for us, they'd played us, they know our weaknesses, and I think playing another team we hadn't been prepared for would have been really good competition as well.
You have weaknesses?
Yeah.
What's your guys' weaknesses?
Well, rebounding a lot. Rebounding, some days our defense is in, but it's okay.
I think you guys were pretty good.
I think we were really good too, but every team has their weaknesses, so.
To finish perfect, I know you guys talked about it all season long that that didn't matter. It was just to win the title.
Mm-hmm.
But is that kind of a cherry on top?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, like we said, we definitely didn't expect to win all of the games, and none of those games before postseason really matter. They pushed us to where we are, and yeah, it just feels great that we were undefeated with it though.
How big of a relief was that final horn?
Oh, it felt so great. It was so sad that it was our last time playing together, so the emotions were really high, but it was more tears of happiness, like, oh my gosh, we did it, we accomplished what, like, our one goal was this whole season, so it just felt really great.
Is there a way to describe how much work you guys put in to get to this? Because I don't think people understand.
Yeah, no, honestly, this has been our goal since, honestly, we were elementary kids playing together in second grade and just pushing each other nonstop, like, during season and off season. This was our one goal, and it just feels amazing that we accomplished it.
What's something that you saw during the trophy presentation or the ceremony that you'll remember that stands out to you?
Oh my, the audience. Just I feel like the first time that we played at Redbird, I didn't really just take a moment to take in all of the fans, and it was just filled, and just hearing everybody just cheering and crying and happy for us and with us, it just felt amazing to know that we had that whole support behind us.
I know you guys won the state title, but what does that mean for those people, for the people of Lincoln?
Honestly, I think it's honestly a relief for them because they knew that was our one goal this whole time, was to get back there, and that one loss to Nazareth really pushed us, and everybody knew that we were going to get back there, and I bet it just feels like a relief that we actually accomplished it.
How would you describe this season?
I don't know how to describe it. It's so amazing and legendary. Yeah, we all just really push each other, and I could not think of a better team to have spent all that time with. It was amazing.
What do you think you'll tell your grandkids about last weekend?
Oh, so many pictures to show them of all of us bawling our eyes out, and I'll just recap all of the fun memories we had all season and talk about all of our inside jokes and stuff. But just looking at the crowd and seeing all of the support we had behind us, it was great, and I'll definitely mention that.
What do you think kind of standards it sets for this program moving forward?
Oh, there's definitely a lot of strengths that are going into next year as well. They're not over. They're going to still be a great team, and it's going to set the bar high for them. They're going to continue to push each other very hard as we did for them and as they did for us, and I don't think that's going to end next year or any season going forward.
Besides these interviews, what will you miss most about this season?
Oh, definitely, honestly, practices and the team bonding. Winning is always fun, but winning doesn't come with teams who don't have a good bonds, and I think that we had great chemistry all years, and it just grew really far this season.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks.
How weird was it to have to play them for the biggest game of your career?
It was a little odd, but I was just glad to be playing for the state title again. I kind of wanted a second chance at NAS, but they moved up, so you can't really have one. So yeah.
Were you happy that they lost?
I was kind of hoping they would win, so it's they should be there,
Yeah.
I mean, they got second, so they should be there, but yeah.
In that same conversation, how cool was it to see Peoria Notre Dame win when that was the biggest game for you guys this year?
Yeah, I think some of us were talking that we were glad that they won also because we beat them, and I mean they were a good team. They were one of our hardest competitions this year, so it was exciting. I'm happy for them. Yeah.
How much of a relief was that final horn?
It was a big relief. I'm oh wow. I mean the game got kind of close, in the middle, and so I was wow, this, you know, you never know what could happen. So it was a big relief. I'm like, wow, we finally accomplished it. And, you know, I feel like I can finally be satisfied with my basketball experience.
Was it kind of cool to be able to sit at the end of that game and just kind of see how many people were there for you guys?
Yes, I was grateful that we had the opportunity to just have a second to look at all the fans from Lincoln that came, and you know, not just from Lincoln, but you know, I had an uncle from North Carolina come. I know someone had a family member from Kentucky. Like, we had people from everywhere coming to watch, and that was just amazing to just see everyone.
Where does this state title rank in terms of the ones that you've won?
Rank? Oh, you know, it's so different because you have it's different. It's just so different because I know I just said different like 3 times in a row.
It's okay.
But you know, you have to have a whole team together to work for this, and yeah, and it was, I don't know, it was special in its own way.
Does it add to the pressure of getting at least one more this spring?
Honestly, I feel like a little bit. You know, I feel like I feel like I need to now. Yeah.
In terms of basketball, how weird is it to say that that's the last, like, I'm sure it's not the last basketball game you'll play, but competitively, like, has that sunk in?
Yeah, it has not sunk in yet because it's pretty surreal. But you know, I'm just glad it ended how it did. You know, not many people get to say that they ended their last game playing ever as a state, you know, champion.
What do you think that this win and this season means for this community?
You know, I think it just sets a tone. You know, now we know it's possible for the teams of Lincoln to, you know, get first in the state. And you know, like I've seen, like with the 4-minute mile, after someone got first, broke 4 minutes in the mile. I mean, a lot of people trickled after. So I hope this sets the tone, and you know, we have a lot more state championships coming up.
As I look back at those videos of like the Super when you guys were so little, how cool is it to see the young girls come up to you guys after games and just kind of be like starstruck? When I mean, that's got to be such a surreal feeling.
Yes, because you know, that was me one day. You know, just looking up to, you know, Kaylin's group of girls, and I thought they were so big and, you know, so, you know, woman-like, so strong, and so it's cool. I feel like I'm not there yet, like them, but I feel like, I mean, I am though, you know, so it's just cool.
How would you describe this team?
You know, I would describe them as, well, I guess I'd have to say legendary. I guess we were legendary, but you know, we're also a family, you know.
You guys said all season long it didn't matter, you know, how many games you lost as long as you didn't lose the last one. But is it kind of a cherry on top that like you did go perfect?
Yes, that was a big cherry on top. I knew we would have a lot of big games and a target would be on our back, but we just focused on one game at a time, and that kind of helped us, you know, come out 38-0.
At what point during this year did you learn how to cut your own steak?
Cut my own steak? Oh my god!
I'm sorry, you're
I just realized what you said!
I want to start with playing Glenwood. I mean, how tough was that to play them the second time, knowing that that's the biggest game of your career?
I mean, it was fine. I honestly like playing teams that we kind of know, because when there's teams that we have we potentially get film from teams, but when we like no idea about the players and what they do, it's kind of harder. So I like knowing like what each player does. And
when you found out you have to play them, you know, what's the conversation like between you guys? Just like, okay, this is our last game, and I don't know. I feel like it would have made it worse if you would have lost to Glenwood compared to like some Chicago team.
Yeah, that is true. We knew we couldn't overlook them because they were doing really good and they were on a winning streak, and so the biggest thing was just to not overlook them because a team can pull anything out. And so knowing that it was our last game, we just had to just play our best.
Would you guys beat Loyola?
I feel like we could if we played a really good game. I didn't really watch much, but I watched some clips of their game, and they were good, but we're good too.
Were you glad that Nazareth lost?
Honestly, yes but no. Everyone was so happy that they lost, but we were thinking because Loyola was undefeated too, and we didn't really want to be the only team that was undefeated, so, I mean, good but bad.
You guys talked about that all year long, like it didn't matter how many losses you had, but was it kind of icing on the cake that you did finish perfect?
Yeah, it definitely was. It was nice. I mean, we played really good teams, so I mean, it was good. They were good competition for us in the beginning and really prepared us for state. So yeah, it definitely the undefeated record was good.
What do you think was the most nervous that coach was this season?
Gosh. I'd honestly say for like the Fallon games or the beginning of postseason when we all started getting sick. I feel like she was getting a little nervous because we all started wiping out, like it was bad. But I feel like her nerves were much better this year, honestly. She believed in us a lot.
Is it crazy to think that, after all the anticipation and everything that it's over, like just like that?
Yeah, it doesn't feel real. Like right now, it hasn't come to reality yet. Probably at the end of this week I'll realize I haven't been to a single practice yet, basketball, so yeah.
When you guys touch that trophy, what is the feeling like?
Oh gosh, it was unreal. It was just a really nice feeling and so relieving, like that we finally made it there.
Did it make it worth it? All the things that people don't see that you guys had to do and go through and put in the work to do.
Definitely, yeah. We put in so many hours of practice, no matter it be before school, after school, during the summer, whatever. We put in so much work because we wanted to get our goal.
Do you feel like you've set the standard too high now at Lincoln?
I don't think so. I think everyone knows, like the seniors, good group of girls, but also the younger group. I think they can do really good. They're a good group of girls. Their JV season, they went undefeated, so I think they can do the same for next year.
What will you tell your grandkids about last weekend?
I would probably say it was just the best. It's probably a memory that's honestly going to stick in my head forever, so I'll tell them, like, it's the best experience I've ever had, and I'll tell them how good of a team I had.
How would you describe this team?
2 words: legendary and family. Because, I mean, we are legends. Everyone will say that, but also we are so, like, close that it's unbelievable.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
How weird was it to have to play them for the biggest game of the season?
Yeah, it was definitely weird because, like I know some of those girls, and just like up on that big stage, it was like really weird, but it was super cool that 2 CS8 schools were able to bring home a state trophy, and that just looks really good. So.
Did that add a little pressure that, you can't lose to Glenwood in that game?
Yeah. Pressure, I don't know about pressure, but I was a little more nervous, yeah, but I was fully confident going into the game, and I'm sure my teammates were too.
At what point during that game did you know that you had it won?
I feel like going in, I was like, I don't know, I felt like the first basket, almost, Chloe driving in, but I think it really, really set in the beginning of the fourth quarter. The beginning of the fourth quarter, we were like standing by each other and I couldn't hear anything. It was really cool. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I didn't even like look at the score, and that's kind of when I knew.
When you look across the bench and see what that was like for this community, I mean, how do you describe that?
Monumental, really. It was so cool to see everybody there. I try not to look up into the bleachers throughout the game because I want to stay locked in, but like I said, fourth quarter, I didn't realize there was that many people, and even behind both baskets was our fans. It was so cool.
What does that say about this community, and what does it mean to this community to win a state title?
I mean, there's like not many words to describe it except legendary. Yeah. Just Railer Nation throughout, like they've been so special to us, to our team. We really love them so much, and just showing out to every single game. Our regional 2 hours away, we had a really good fan base there.
The Alton
and
game.
Yeah, I mean their Facebook posts, we love reading them before the games. They're always encouraging us and always behind our backs. And I know whatever the outcome that was going to be, they were going to be there with us. And I'm glad that we could bring home the first place trophy.
What was the feeling like to touch that trophy?
It was so awesome. It was so special that I could do it with this team too. Oh my gosh, lots of happy tears. Yeah, it felt so good.
Was it all worth it?
Yes.
I mean, you know how much work you put in. I don't think a lot of people do, but the time and the effort and the blood and the sweat and the tears, like, did that culminate with touching that trophy and saying that's ours?
Yeah, I would do it over. I would spend many hours in the gym again if I could. I mean, I'm still feeling that feeling, but to feel this, like, I'm on such a high right now, like, seriously, it's awesome.
For you, at what point do you have to turn the page and get ready for next year?
I think I'm gonna go to training next week, but I'm still gonna feel like super awesome about this. But I think this summer, whenever we come in and the seniors aren't gonna be there, and it's like it's a new team. It's not a new team, but it's like a new page, and everyone that's returning knows how we felt on Saturday, and I know they all want to feel that again, and I want to feel that again. So we're gonna put in lots of work to make it back.
Do you think that feeling compares to the feeling of finishing runner-up? Like, in terms of motivating?
Yeah. I felt like losing was definitely more motivating because you don't want to feel that again, but now that we have the feeling of winning, it'll motivate us in a different way, and I hope
People will say, Chloe, Becca are gone, like, this program's done. Like, they don't know that the JV finished undefeated, and not only that, but you guys practice against them every single day. Like, you're probably a top 5 team in the state without them. What does that mean for next year?
Yeah, lots of people say that, but yeah, like you said, during practice, I mean, they work their tails off to push us, and it goes to show that they want it too. Like, they helped us, and I know next year will be really good with them, and yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. I want to start with Glenwood. Playing them for the second time, how did that add to the pressure? Like, we can't lose to Glenwood in this game.
Yeah, a little bit. I think going in, we had confidence in ourselves. Honestly, ever since the game that we were losing and we came back and won, I think that instilled confidence in us, and we were like, we can come back from anything if we try hard enough. If we have the heart, we can win anything. And so, just the whole postseason, I think we had that confidence leading us, guiding us, and going into that state championship game. I think we were just confident in our abilities and ourselves, and we knew that we were going to go in and we weren't coming home with a second place trophy again.
Would you have rather played a different team, like somebody from Chicago that you didn't know about?
Not necessarily. I think it's really cool that we were able to have a CSA state championship game. I know it tore a lot of people in the community who may have been from Lincoln cheering for Chatham, or from Chatham cheering for Lincoln, but I think whoever it was, we were going to go out and just play our last game together and give it our all.
Do you guys want to play Loyola?
I think it would be cool. It would be cool. I think we really wanted to play Naz this year, just to try and get that redemption, but...
Were you glad they lost?
No, not necessarily. I think I was pulling for Nazareth to win, but just because it would be cool to say that we've played against the 4A, the 2A state champions, but yeah.
At what point during that game did you know that you had it won?
When we ran out. In warm-ups, the crowd just erupting. Like, I can't even put into words what it sounded like, and I knew that just knowing my teammates, knowing myself, I knew that we were not going to lose that game. And then we went out, and starting with that 20-point lead, I had my teammates and I feel like we couldn't miss. It was insane. It was such a great experience, and yeah, I knew all along.
Would you have cared at all if you didn't score in that game?
Oh yeah, I went in and I didn't care if I scored or who scored. As long as we got that trophy and brought it home, I was perfectly content with that.
What was that feeling like to touch that trophy?
It was the greatest feeling in the world. Just knowing that we put in so much work, and to just hoist the trophy up and to run out on the court and just
feel that feeling with my friends and that unforgettable moment, it was just the greatest feeling in the world.
Was it what you expected, that feeling?
Everything and more, yes. I actually, like, ever since last year, I've been dreaming about that moment. I've been dreaming about running out there and embracing my teammates, and just, it was exactly how I envisioned it.
Has it sunk in that it's over?
No, I don't think so, just because we're on such like a high right now. Like, everybody's still talking about it. It's talk of the town, it's talk of the area. We finished our chapter unforgettable, and that's was our ultimate goal. And so I think that it won't be till June when we're not together, going on the many tournaments that we go to, practicing together, that it will eventually set in.
How do you describe this team to somebody who maybe didn't see it?
Legendary. I think that for people who don't know Lincoln, they don't understand how historic this state championship run is, and how monumental this whole past 2 years has been to the Lincoln community. And there was someone wrote an article up, and it put everything into words and more, and it just described every single team that has made it so close to winning, and just how hard it truly is to do. And you get close, but we've come up short. This town has come up short 120 years now, and so to just finally do it for ourselves, for this town, is just it's amazing.
She's not done yet, but to add a state championship in basketball, how can you describe Becca's high school career?
She is insane. That's insane is one word. She's probably the most gifted athlete that I know. She's a true winner, and to have a teammate like that is I'm so blessed to be able to grow up with her, to have her to push me in everything that I do, and I would not be the person I am today without her.
Where do you feel like this sets the bar in terms of the Lincoln basketball program? Because like you said, it's never been done before, and to do it perfectly, I mean, nobody can beat that, unless you're running clock every single game or something. But like, where does this set the bar?
High, very high. I think that Lincoln's basketball, it's a basketball town, it's a basketball community, and I think that the standard for the sport in this town has always been high. And so to be able to do this, I think it just shows everyone that even though the bar is set high, it's not inachievable. You can do whatever you set your mind to, as long as you work hard, and your goal is achievable.
Where does it set the bar for you in terms of what you can do now at the next level?
I think it just shows that, again, anything that I set my mind to, that I surround myself with teammates who set their mind to the same thing, that nothing is impossible. And I think I walk away knowing that, and knowing that the feeling of finally achieving a goal that you've set your mind to for so long is worth the pain. It's worth the 4-hour practices. It's worth the getting up at 6 in the morning. It's all worth it in the end.
Awesome. Great job.
Thank you.
Thank you. What was your concerns playing them the second? Like, that had to add to the stress a little bit. Like,
I mean, I think it's really cool that there were 2 CS8 schools in the state championship game. I mean, just a credit to who we are as a conference. I think that it did add a little bit of stress. You go and you beat them the first time. Now they're out for revenge. They're like, you ain't beating us again. I've been in their shoes. We just we prepared for them the best that we could, and we knew that they really had improved a lot. I mean, the first time we played them, it was halfway through the season. You're talking about a young team. They caught their stride right at the right time, and wow, they're going to be a powerhouse in a couple of years. They're really good, and they gave us their best effort, and it was a great game.
when you call that timeout to pull the starters, what's that feeling like?
It's a pretty good feeling. It almost still doesn't seem real. It was when you pulled your starters in a state title game, you're like, okay, we won. We're state champs. And on the flip side of that, that's the last time I'm subbing them out, and that's a hard thing. So that part was pretty emotional for me. I mean, all the way around, winning the state title and seeing, the thing we dreamed about since last year become reality, but also the thing we've all been dreading also became reality in that moment, and that was that they stepped off the floor for the last time.
Did you allow yourself to soak in a moment during that game, just like looking up and seeing what this meant for this community?
Absolutely. It was such an intense game. In the heat of it, you forget about it all, and you're coaching your kids. Whether you're at ISU or you're in our own gym here or wherever you are, you're coaching your kids. But prior to it beginning, I told myself, okay, look up. Look up and see and look. And so before it began, I took a moment and I just, from the student section over, and I just kept looking up and around and oh my God, it was full of red and green, and those were all Lincoln fans. I mean, it was just incredible. What a statement to, or credit to what these girls have done, and the way they brought this community together, and it was really special to have Railer Nation behind us, and I'm excited to see what they hoped would be and what did become the first state championship for a sports team here at Lincoln High School.
Did that validate it a little more? Like all the work that nobody sees, all the time that you spend away from your kid and your family, like seeing what that means to not only these girls but this program. I mean, it had to feel like, okay, this is worth it.
It all felt worth it in that moment, absolutely. And that was the battle. I have a newborn at home when the season starts. I mean, not a newborn, but 6-month-old, and it's like, how do you justify that? How do you justify, okay, working a job is one thing, but now I'm doing this extra thing, where I'm gone till, on a good night, I'm gone till 7. On a long night, I'm gone till 11, 12, game night, come home, get the film up, do those things, and then you're finally walking through your door, and how do you justify that? My sister, who has 2 kids, is like, I don't know how you do it, and I'm like, I just got to. And that was the debate, coming into this season, and I knew that there was no way I was going to walk away from this team. The reality is that hopefully, 1, he won't remember, and 2, someday if, he's like, wow, you spent a lot of time away from me, I'm going to say, yeah, but this is the reason, because I wanted to help my team that I've coached for 3 years get to a state championship, and it would have been an injustice, an in-service, or I don't know what the right word is, to my kids to walk away from them at that point, and there was no way I could do that.
Right, because like you said, I mean, these have become your kid. Like,
absolutely,
the relationship that you have with them is something that, I mean, that's going to make it hard for in June when you have that first practice and they're not there. Like, that's going to be pretty weird.
It will be weird. And that group of 5, they're so special, and it'll be different. And there was no way I was walking away from them. Not after the 3 years we've had. I mean, COVID, and then Chloe getting hurt and us losing that heartbreaker, that sectional, and then us losing, the state title after being undefeated. There was no way I was going to walk away from them. I had to see it through with them, and then in this year in June, them not being there, that's going to be hard. But I do it every year. You always say goodbye to a group of seniors, and then you welcome the new group in, and this next group is really special too. And so, we've focused a lot about the kids that led us to this state championship, But what we never really focus on a ton is the kids that help get them there. And that's the group that's coming up. You know, those are the kids that challenge them day in and day out at practice.
Take nothing away from that team because, like you said, the ones coming up they were undefeated this year. They passed every test just as well, and they practiced against that team, which makes them probably a top 5 team in the state, honestly. But yeah, the bar is set so high now. How do you? I mean, what do you say to these girls going into next year? Like, hey, we have to make our own identity. Like,
they absolutely have to become themselves. You know, the group that is graduating, you know, they left their mark, and now it's this group's turn, and they're not going to be the same as that team. You know, that it's totally different personnel, and so we have to fall into our own roles, and they have to find their own footing, and it's going to be a different look of Lincoln basketball, but it's still going to be Lincoln basketball. And I think that's, you know, the important thing as a coach is to know who you're coaching. And that's why I always try to build relationships with all my kids and to help them to become the best that they can be. And that's what I'm going to do with this next group is, you know, help lead them to earn all the things that they want to earn. And that's, you know, that is a key, is it's earned. You know, they have to want it, they have to fight for it. And this next group, they're pretty good. So
right, I asked Piper the motivation feeling of losing compared to winning, and you know, seeing what it takes to get there and how that feels. But she still said losing is a stronger force. What's your thoughts on that?
You know, I think that winning breeds winning. You know, when you know how to win, I think that's an important part of being an athlete is knowing how to win, how to finish a game, how to do the little things that it takes to win. But I think that if you're a competitor, losing just eats at you, and then you come out fired up and you're like, I am not going to lose again. And so I think that is one of the things about that, you know, group of 5 or 6 kids is they're competitors. You know, they're winners and competitors, and they were losing to Naz ate them up, just like losing to Muhammad the year prior ate them up. And so I think that it kind of goes hand in hand a little bit. It just depends on the kid and, you know, what motivates them.
Awesome. Thank you.
Wait, you have to ask me one more question.
How would you describe this team? Sorry, I'll go ahead.
Okay, do it again.
As we look back on it now, how would you describe this team? Yeah, you can't. I won't look at you.
Okay. All right. I can do it. I swear.
How would you?
You can't do it.
How do you describe this team?
Legendary.